Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 3, which is entitled as Karma Yoga, Sloka 29. Prakṛter guṇa-sammūḍhāḥ sajjante guṇa-karmasu tān akṛtsna-vido mandān kṛtsna-vin vicālayet. Here it's the same message what has been told earlier, but making it much more clear that how one who doesn't have Atma-jnana behaves and how those who have Atma-jnana behaves with those who doesn't have that knowledge. That is what's been explained here. Prakṛter guṇa-sammūḍhāḥ. Prakṛter, the predominant matter, that's the prakriti which is of three modes. It's talking about the body over here. The person who is unable to discriminate, guṇa-sammūḍhāḥ, unable to discriminate between the matter and the spirit. That is because the influence of the three gunas. They being ignorant. So the meaning of this sloka is those who are bewildered by the senses made of prakriti or much attached to the actions of the body and senses. But one who knows, that is tān akṛtsna-vido mandān kṛtsna-vin vicālayet. But one who knows the Atma should not disturb foolish people, those people who are ignorant. If you remember, we saw avidvan and vidvan is the same thing. The vidvan should not disturb the avidvan. That's the essence of this one. So, how the people who are bewildered by the three modes who are attached to their body should not be further bewildered by those who have realized the truth of Atma, who have the Atma-jnana. They are doing what they can do to their best in Karma Yoga. They meaning here the one who doesn't have the complete full Atma-jnana, those people, they are doing their best in Karma Yoga. So one who knows the truth should engage them to continue further on what they are doing, but not to pull them out of it and get them engaged in Jnana Yoga, which is totally alien for them. They will have no clue about it. Though it may be very attractive because there's nothing much to be done on Jnana Yoga. Therefore it may be attractive, but that may not be long lasting for these people to practice. Because why? Because they're already struggling to do their Karma Yoga, which is prescribed duties, which is they're familiar with, which is they've been doing for many, many years, in fact lifetime. So that is much easier for them to follow as their dharma. If they are struggling doing Karma Yoga, which they are used to, how is that going to be beneficial for them to practice Jnana Yoga, which is never been in their practice, and it's much more difficult than Karma Yoga. So one might ask the question or feel from this sloka that we've been seeing so far, that it appears that Krishna simply seem to be letting people to do whatever they want, but not to tell them what is right or what is wrong, or not to uplift them from their low-level consciousness to the higher consciousness. It appears, because often we hear the person who is learned should not disturb the avidvans and let them do whatever they want, did not pull them from what they are doing. So it all seems to be a little different. That then why are we even doing anything that we are doing to educate people? Let them all be the way they are. Why we have to have Bhagavad Gita classes? Why we have to have discourses? Why we have to have books to read? All those things, why it's needed. Just let the people be the way they are. We don't need to trouble them. So that it appears to be like that as we have been seeing this one. But in reality, that's not the case. As what we have been practicing in the world is that one may know or someone may not know. So one might feel that it is my responsibility to educate those people who doesn't know. So that's how it is, right? So you know something, I don't know something. So you tell me something which I don't know to educate me. Likewise, I might know something, you might not know something, and I educate you on something which you might not know to be educated. But whereas here Krishna seemed to be is promoting of non-educational program, not educating anyone, let them do whatever they want. Let's see the answer. It is not one should not educate others. That's not what Krishna is promoting here. But one can educate others on two things. One is if they are ready to hear. Number two, if they can accept to practice what has been heard. Those are the two things. And even if they are ready to hear, they should be given instruction to that extent which they can easily take up and follow. If we educate them with everything that we know and what we practice, then those people who are new to this will get frightened and may even stop doing what they are doing of little bit. Therefore, Krishna says, Arjuna, you don't do that mistake. Out of enthusiasm, sometimes people try to bombard others with so much of information. And finally, the person who's hearing this one will get completely bewildered, overtaken, or cannot handle it, and they'll totally get frightened to come back again to hear anything. Therefore, it's just important that we only advise people as much as they can take up and practice. And when they practice and perfect with that one, give the next dose, and give the next dose, and give the next dose. So that's what Krishna is trying to say. Not to educate people, not to say anything, but tell as much as they can apply in their life, provided they are ready to hear. So the two types of people, one who has taken up Atma Darshan program, but not fully knowledgeable about Atma. That's number one people. Again, one who has taken up Atma Darshan program, what Krishna is saying here so far, that's all Atma program. Atma Darshan, I want to see the Atma. So they are very interested, they have a desire to see the Atma, but they don't have the complete knowledge of Atma yet. Whereas the second category of people, one who has complete knowledge of Atma. They have the complete knowledge of Atma. So in this Sloka, divided into two parts, prakṛter guṇa-sammūḍhāḥ, sajjante guṇa-karmasu. That's the first part. In the Sloka, the first part, those people who falls in the first category is being addressed, who has not achieved the Atma Jnana fully, will continue to do their action with some attachment because of the guna and the karma that they carry, but it will not appear that they are inclined towards Atma much. They'll be doing it, but not that they are inclined towards Atma. Therefore, they are not qualified for performing Jnana Yoga, but they can continue Karma Yoga to start with. That will be the best program for them to continue. So, why can't they learn and acquire whatever necessary for one to perform Jnana Yoga? Why can't they simply skip Karma Yoga? So the second part, tān akṛtsna-vido mandān kṛtsna-vin vicālayet. Their intelligence are limited. They are mandān. Mandān means they are quite lazy in the topic of self-realization, understanding self-realization. Therefore, Krishna is telling that Jnana Yoga, instead of Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, that has to be continued. But Arjuna seemed to be having this confusion which is lingering on in his mind, constantly coming back and asking the same question. Why can't I do Jnana Yoga? Why can't I do Jnana Yoga? The reason this conversation keeps coming because of the view of Arjuna and Krishna seem to be differing. The way that Arjuna is seeing is different, and the way Krishna is seeing is different. That's why this topic keeps coming. Arjuna is considering those who are qualified and got mental strength to perform Jnana Yoga. Therefore, Arjuna keeps on telling, why can't I do Jnana Yoga? Why can't one who's qualified to do Jnana Yoga? That's how he is sticking on to this idea. Whereas Krishna is considering about those who are not qualified and doesn't have mental strength to perform Jnana Yoga. So they both are talking in two different views. And therefore the question keeps coming. Here, the reality is that Arjuna is addressing in the whole population, in the world population, Arjuna is addressing 1% of the people who are qualified in the world who can perform Jnana Yoga. Just an example, we don't want to get into the detail of who are the 1% people, right? Just for us to understand this argument. Arjuna is focusing only on a very minimal, limited percentage of people who may be qualified in the world to perform Jnana Yoga. That's why he is asking this question. Whereas Krishna's viewpoint is, Krishna is trying to address 99% of the people who are not qualified in the world to perform Jnana Yoga. That's why Krishna is going back here. Arjuna is coming back again and again with the same question. Why can't this? Why can't this? Right? Therefore, we need to focus on the majority of the population and invest our time and energy on them. Those who are well-to-do, they can manage themselves anyway, somehow. For example, if a parent has 2 children and one is healthy and the other one has some health limitation, the focus of the parents will be on the one child that has or that needs help, right? It's quite obvious, we all know that one. Because the other child who's healthy will survive by itself somehow or the other. But the one who's not requires a lot of help. So here Arjuna's concern is about the healthy child, whereas Krishna's concern about the child which is having limitation. So Krishna is more compassionate, thinking about the majority of the population. So those manda or lazy in understanding about the self, Atma, people, looking at you will give up karma yoga. Arjuna, looking at you, those people, manda buddhi, those who are mandas, those people look upon you and they will even give up whatever they are doing as a karma yoga and try to follow your footstep, because you are going to take Jnana Yoga, which is what you are inclined to, and they will also try to jump and take up the Jnana Yoga. So instead, you should inspire those people, the Manda people, by you strictly following Karma Yoga to the perfection, setting as an example for these people. Right. Now, another question is, Arjuna's question may come is it not wrong that a person who is qualified to act on a higher standard compromises and takes up lower standard? One that become a wrong example for the society, and one that be my fault? By that, am I not going to create some sin for myself? So Arjuna is having a very valid question here. If someone is really can perform some activities, higher activities, give up certain things and perform much more high degree of sadhanas, practices, why should that person have to compromise to a lower standard? By doing so, that person may not set as an example to the society, and it may be a fault on his side, and also he might accumulate sin by doing so. Very valid question. So Arjuna's questions and Krishna's response, Krishna's already responded to this one previously. It's just Arjuna is not able to remember or recollect it. In other words, we don't remember and recollect Arjuna for sure. Namaste. Hare Krishna.